Welcome to Running Down the Clock, where we break down all of this week's big news, events, and controversies from the National Football League. Over the next 45 minutes, we will give you basic fan perspective and opinion on the most important stories and moments happening now. So, let's start the clock. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Running Down the Clock. I am Tyler Walzer. I'm here with Poya Ricey. We are a day late. My apologies. I had the flu, tested for COVID. It was inconclusive, but here we are. We're a day late, and I apologize. But we have a big weekend coming up. We got some news, lots of news this weekend. We had a great last weekend. I think before we get into playoffs, Puya, let's talk about.
I got something we got to talk about.
Okay.
So, were you not able to play through the pain to record yesterday, or was it a personnel safety issue that the producers just kept you back just to keep your voice for the playoffs? What was the reasoning here?
I could not literally sit up for longer than 10 minutes yesterday. And I had a fever of, I think it was like 39.5 or something like that. Where I just wasn't making sense in what I was talking about to people.
Well, we never make sense, so that's an irrelevant point.
Well,
however,
even less sense.
We're not a flu game kind of guy, eh? Okay.
Even less sense. I literally couldn't.
I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
I know you are. I won't stand for it.
No, I know. But I do have one thing, like legitimate to bring up.
Go.
The Texans.
Yes.
We know they had an abysmal season.
Yes.
They had the chance of the number one overall pick. They threw that away. Now, is that the coach, knowing he's getting fired, just kind of giving a big F you to the team, like, well, I'm going to go for the win. Why do I care about your future when I'm going to get fired? Or is it also that there's not that big of a difference between the number one overall pick and the number two overall pick from the standpoint of Chicago, where I don't think there's a massive consensus number one guy that's looking like a franchise, once in a generation player that's going to be the number one pick right now that everybody sought after, right? There's a couple names in there, is there not?
So there's two guys at the top
for the
Bryce
quarterback,
Young and CJ Stroud from Alabama and Ohio State. So there's two quarterbacks that are going to go 1-2. That's almost a guarantee. Until Chicago got the first overall draft pick, and now they don't need a quarterback.
But they can still trade that pick to somebody,
they can trade it away.
Player.
Now, in terms of Lovie Smith, who's the head coach of the Texans, winning that game and having them finish second place, I think he knew that he wasn't going to get rehired. And also, I don't think you said it's a big fuck you to the team, but I don't think that's the case, because all the players on that team, why do they want to lose?
No, not a fuck you to the team is in the players. I mean, the fuck you to the team is in the ownership.
Well, the ownership sucks. So probably that's why.
For the ownership, do you think they really care about one more win on that season?
No, they would have rather have the number one pick.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. But I mean, how do you get your players to say, hey guys, lose this game? Because all those, then that means Davis Mills is giving up his spot at quarterback, even though he probably is going to lose it anyways. But you're basically telling your players, like, hey, we need better drafts to replace all you guys, because you're not.
You don't tell your players that, because I think that demotivates them from ever wanting to put their heart and soul into your team. But the coaching is who you can actually say, like, listen, do this, I don't want to say throwing the game, but
I guess, I don't know how coaches can throw a game unless they just always go for it on fourth down or like stupid play calls.
Fire him the game before, so your coach doesn't even come in, and just put some schmo in as the interim head coach for the last game just to bomb the game.
Now that would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's actually,
I just think his ownership, what's the point at then? Like, what's the difference between a 3 and 1 record as opposed to a 2 and 1 record?
Yeah, it means in the ownership 100% would rather have lost that game and have the first overall pick. But you're right, that's the only way to do it, would be fire Lovie Smith 2 days before the game starts, bring in some guy who just doesn't know what he's doing and causes turmoil, and they lose the game.
Yeah,
that's the way.
On the other side of that is, could that hinder you from getting another good head coach in the future, knowing that this is how you're going to treat your guys?
I mean, they've had 2 different head coaches in 2 years.
Yeah.
So everyone already knows that that's how they treat their guys.
No, I don't see a good season next year for them either. But anyway,
Neither do I. Neither do I. So last weekend there was some huge games that got teams in the playoffs, got teams out of the playoffs, and then we'll get into some coaching firings, some Derek Carr stuff, and then we'll talk playoffs coming up this week. Now, so the Dolphins won and the Patriots lost, which got the Dolphins into the playoffs. Now, I don't know how I feel about that because Tua's not going to play. So I don't know if that's a better situation for the NFL. But then let's skip all that for now because more interesting
well, can
is
I make a point to the Dolphins? Like
yeah,
the Dolphins are what 9 in cold weather games. Oh, the last
yeah,
9
they
games.
haven't lost, they haven't won a game in forever that's been below 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
40
Now they
degrees
don't
Fahrenheit.
have their best player. Why are they going to beat the Bills?
They're not going to beat the Bills, but we'll get into that later. Let's get into that playoffs later. Let's talk about last weekend, which got people in the playoffs. And the most interesting game I think we talked about, obviously, last week was the Seahawks game coming up against the Rams.
Oh, man.
That game was stressful. I don't know how any Lions fan. I was more stressed watching that game than obviously the Lions game because the Lions game didn't mean anything. But oh my God, it was Baker Mayfield,
As
that pick in overtime. Like everyone said, Baker Mayfield can't throw the long ball, can't throw the long ball, can't throw the long ball. Whenever he was in Cleveland, and they were giving him shit about him being a bad quarterback, and OBJ wanted out of town, and everyone was like, "Why does he want out of town?" And then his dad posted that viral video on like Twitter, or Instagram, or something of uh, Odell being open like 12 times and Baker not being able to throw it far enough to get to him. And even then, I was like, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just obviously two people fighting in the dressing room that's going their different ways. But seeing him miss Van Jefferson to get the Rams the win and kick Seattle out of the playoffs was, oh my God, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
so, as your situation, being a Lions fan, knowing what was at stake in that game, would you have rather had that Seattle game played after the Lions game? Because
Yeah.
like when when your future's not in your own hands, it's kind of all pointless, right? At least that way, if the Lions are playing, they can hold their future in their own hands for that moment, win, and that still gives you hope. This way, your hope was already crushed before your Lions played. What's the better scenario for you as the Lions? I think you'd actually want the dramatics of watching the Seattle game after.
So I had this conversation with some buddies from back home. And I think I said to them, the NFL is going to screw this up because they're going to put the Lions Packers on Sunday night. And the game's not going to mean as much because the Seahawks are going to win in the afternoon. So like it just won't matter for the Lions. It'll just be the Packers. So I
I don't know if
think,
that matters as much. I think that matters equally from a neutral standpoint because for Seattle, they got to win to play, but Green Bay
sure,
had the most to play for.
the Green Bay could, and that's why they were the Sunday night game, is
Exactly.
because the
So I think
NFL
they
wanted the
actually, from a
Packers.
neutral standpoint, it was the better game to put.
Sure, but they should have put them both at the 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock time slots, like the afternoon game, should both have been Lions Packers.
World Cup style. So nobody can
Yeah.
throw it
So
knowing the result.
no one knows what's going on. And then make the night game some other game. Like it could have been the Jaguars Titans game from the night earlier. Then you have a full Sunday of games that actually matter. But I see why they did it. It didn't make it actually having Seattle win and knowing the Lions weren't going to make the playoffs made the evening a lot more enjoyable for me. I was able to enjoy the Lions Packers game instead of be a stress case about every single play because when there's nothing on the line like that, it's just you don't care. I don't want to say you don't care as much, but you're not gonna like cry about it.
No, you had your consolation win. You didn't have the worst
Yeah,
outcome. You had your consolation win of watching Aaron Rodgers potentially never playing Green Bay again.
yeah. So that was a weird way to end that game, right? Like he got absolutely destroyed all game, and then after the game, Jameson Williams runs up to him, wide receiver
Jamal.
rookie.
Oh, sorry.
It was Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Um, and said, "Hey, can we do can I get that jersey?" And then Aaron said, "No, I have to keep this one." And then he went off the field like almost like hand in hand with Randall Cobb. He pushed a video camera guy out of the way because he was like, I don't know, crying or some shit. Pushed him out of the way in the tunnel and made it very obvious him and Cobb like walking into the sunset. So, I mean, like playoffs aside, that's a great consolation to like we retired Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. You don't think he plays again next year?
I don't think he plays in Green Bay.
I don't think he plays in Green Bay. I think he plays again though.
Yeah, but he'd have to be traded.
Which is possible.
It is possible, but it's tough to. I don't know.
We'll see. But
I mean, there's a lot of
the other
quarterbacks getting
side of that
drafted.
is your boy Jamal Williams, who I think also had a little moment with Rodgers since he was a former Packer.
Yeah.
Would you say, like where do you stand on this? He broke Sanders' record, but
Yes.
the number of games played doesn't match up. Like, is that
Um.
like those are tough? I think almost at that point you have to kind of like break it down to the number of TDs per game, like per game, right?
Yeah, I think you have to break it down per because I think the NFL used to be like 12 games and then it went to 16 games and now it's 17 games. Absolutely have to take that into account
Yeah,
because also Justin Jefferson was close to beating Calvin Johnson's record
with
of
another game.
with another game.
Yeah,
I think Cooper Cup was close to it
moot
last
point
year.
though because he didn't beat it,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
didn't matter.
exactly. Cooper Cup didn't do it either, but you have to take that another. That's an extra 150 yards on average for those guys.
No, yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I think that you have to break that down per yeah, like seasons separated with those year difference, those generational gap differences, era
Now
differences.
I like this guy,
I
Jamal Williams.
love him. I
Now,
love
is
him.
he not the most uninhibited like pro athlete you've ever seen? From he goes from crying to talking trash in a
Yeah,
split
like
second,
in
like
a
a split second.
second. In a split second, he's talking in tears, talking about how his great grandfather passed away, and he's that game's for him, that game's for him. To like literally blinks his eye and goes, "We're the Detroit Lions. Don't fuck with us. Don't fuck with us." Like,
I thought he was about to go on like one of those Mike Tyson rants, like
oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
eat his heart, I'm gonna eat his children.
yeah, I love him because he also seems like such a mild mannered, not mild mannered, but like goofy guy. Like he's super into like anime and like Pokemon and stuff. And did you see his when you know how like in
His intro.
Sunday night and yeah, his intro?
That
I don't even
I
know
don't
what
know
he
what he
said.
said.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's some sort of cartoon character.
it must be because it's the only thing I could think of was the Key and Peele skit where like they have like a bunch of weird names and looks for the guys. But
I
I had
love
no
the
idea
guys
what
that
he
don't
said.
take that seriously. I would have thought that'd been a requirement by the NFL. To be honest, that's actually one aspect. I'm surprised the NFL actually lets the players do whatever they want to do. Like they can't celebrate, like they didn't used to be able to celebrate a touchdown the way they wanted to.
Yeah.
They can't, like they get taunting, like delay of game penalties and stuff. But they let them say whatever they want in that intro.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome because I think one guy who went to some school in the states, I don't know where, what university, lied and said Harvard.
that was on the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't
Four
know.
guys from the Detroit Lions that last week said something as a joke.
Yeah, yeah, I love
One
it.
guy, one guy went to Barry Sanders University.
Yeah, Malcolm Rodriguez,
Malcolm Rodriguez. Yeah.
Barry
Not even
Sanders
a running back. Not
University.
even a
That's
running back.
no, he's a linebacker. I thought that was so weirdly hilarious. I don't know why, um, but yeah, that was entertainment, and that's our team. That's why I
Yeah.
love this team. 9-8. I know we couldn't make the playoffs, but we got to see Aaron Rodgers leave a loser in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And I hope he doesn't come back to Green Bay. Like, just get him. I would love for the Green Bay Packers to suck for the next 10 years and let the Lions. The Lions have a lot of free agents this year, and their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, is getting a lot of looks as a head coach in places. So I'm not a big fan of
You
that.
just said a trigger word, and I'm sorry to jump ship here, but offensive coordinator. Now, I know you
Ugh.
have this relationship. Now, I'd like to say it's a love hate, but there's no love. All that love that could be there is just added hate with Matt Patricia. What I'm reading is that the Patriots are looking for a new offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
meaning Robert Kraft sat down with Belichick and said, "We need a new offensive coordinator. Your boy's a bum."
So yeah, but they haven't fired him.
Them fired him. I don't think Bill Belichick likes to fire his guys. Like, but that's a mistake. That shows like a blatant mistake on Belichick.
Yeah, that's 100% a
It
like a
is, but I think that's a saving
miscalculation.
face, kind of move.
Yeah, maybe like they could put him back on defense where he belongs, if he even
I
belongs
don't think he belongs
there.
anywhere.
No, he doesn't. He should be sitting on his couch eating
Ever
Cheetos.
since his defense, when he was in charge of the Lions, showing what he did with their defense when having free reign,
Yeah,
you know, out when he was
horrible.
out from underneath the hand of Bill Belichick, he showed what truly he's going to do on defense. He was terrible.
He's terrible. He is terrible, and he's always been terrible. He'll always be terrible, and it's just one of those things where I'd like. I just want them to say we fired him because he deserves to be fired.
But I feel like that's another win for you on the season. Like, that's
That's
it's
a win. Like also knowing that it's gotta suck because now so many of the fans of the Patriots and maybe some of the people in the Patriots organization don't believe that Mac Jones, their quarterback, who was in his second season, is going to be a good quarterback anymore. And I don't know why they would think that, knowing that you've just handed over the reins to your young quarterback from Josh McDaniels to Matt Patricia, a defensive idiot. Now you've made an offensive moron, and did you expect Mac Jones to have a better year? I don't understand that at all. So get yourself an actual offensive coordinator, and then maybe Mac Jones can be an actual quarterback in the NFL.
yeah, I couldn't care less about Mac Jones, to be honest. He's a dirty player and there's no place for him. But
That's true.
Josh McDaniels,
Yes,
how long does this guy keep his job for?
I
Does
think he
that
gets
all
one.
depend on who the next quarterback is in
I think he gets one more year.
yeah?
Well, he's like they still were in a playoff contention up until week 17, I believe. When they lost in week 17, I think they're out.
If they
But
didn't if they sustained every lead that they had, they would have been the best team in the NFL.
yeah, I mean they got a lot like out of that offense, they got a lot. Now, I don't know why like to give up on Derek Carr like this. And now so Derek Carr came out today and said like his goodbyes to all Raiders Nation in Las Vegas and thanks for blah 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 whatever. Um I don't know how you find a better quarterback right now unless you go out and get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So, but they have to give something up for him, right? Can't just grab him.
They'd have to trade for Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Yeah. Now, draft picks could be something. Future draft picks.
Yeah, future draft picks. I think also like they could trade. Well, I don't know if I think they might have given up a first rounder for Devontae Adams. So I don't know if they have a first rounder. I'll have to look into that. But they could trade. Maybe Green Bay wants Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Like if
There's also the rumors of Tom Brady. There's a bunch of rumors. There's a bunch of rumors of guys float around,
yeah,
but all rumors.
I think he gets one more year to try to get that team to the playoffs. And then if they don't make the
Now,
playoffs next year, I think it's done for him.
one thing I'm starting to believe more and more, and this is completely biased as my kind of like for the Raiders. I think Derek Carr is better than Dak Prescott. I think he's far better. I
Wow.
think Dak Prescott is a perennial letdown every year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to get you over this hump. And this is the year to show. If he makes a deep playoff run by playing well, I will, eat my words. But I just don't see it happening.
I also don't see it happening. I mean, Dallas plays Tampa Bay and Tom Brady this weekend. So, but also you mentioned when we talked on the phone earlier today. So, Dak Prescott has the most interceptions in the league this year, and he missed a couple games, few games, like maybe 4 games.
Now, that's kind of Jameis Winston esque, right? Like, oh yeah, we'll win. I'll get some points. We'll win some games. It's just, I'm gonna throw the ball away a lot doing it.
So far, man, you are going to make a lot of enemies on this with their Dak Prescott, and you've compared him to Derek Carr and Jameis Winston.
Now, I'm gonna throw another one out there for you. This is direct at you. I'd take at this point, looking back at their careers, I would take Kirk Cousins over Derek Carr.
Why?
I'm sorry, not Derek Carr, Dak Prescott.
Why? Why for both of them? But What? That is so frustrating. Kirk Cousins is shitty. He's very shitty.
I don't think he's amazing, but this is my kind of lack of faith in Dak Prescott now.
Well, I mean, you can have lack of faith in Dak Prescott and not make a moronic statement like the one you just made.
Well, why you'd take Dak Prescott over Kirk Cousins if you had the choice
Yes.
between the two?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like Kirk Cousins is a game manager that doesn't manage a game very well. Dak Prescott can actually make plays. He might be loose with the ball every once in a while, throwing it away, throwing it to the team, but Kirk Cousins makes way more mistakes in bigger games. We'll actually find out this weekend because
well, I
Kirk
think they
Cousins.
both. I think they actually. I can see the Vikings. This is one matchup I think they actually can move on from. They're playing the Giants, right?
Yeah, they play the Giants.
Yeah, I think they got the easier matchup to actually pull through. I don't think they go past that because what they
They
bump
would
into
play
likely the 49ers, right?
if Minnesota wins, I think they play Philly. And if because the 49ers are 2 right now. And then
No, I think if either Tampa or Dallas would play Philly, don't they?
if Tampa Bay beats Dallas, so say if we
Because those
pretty
are
much
4 and 5 teams. Tampa Bay and Dallas are both the fourth and fifth
yeah.
seed.
So if Dallas wins, they play Philly. Okay, yeah. So Minnesota will play San Francisco probably.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
The only other two
Philly.
teams that could play Philly would be Seattle or New York. Those are the 6 and 7 teams.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so Minnesota will play. Sorry.
Minnesota likely plays San Francisco, assuming San
Yeah.
Francisco beats Seattle. And
Yes.
that would put either Dallas or Tampa Bay up against Philly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Seattle really will be the only ones that would slot into that Philadelphia game.
Or the Giants.
Yeah, or the Giants.
Yeah.
But I think Minnesota wins that game. Now, so there was with that Derek Carr thing, let's just quickly brief on head coaching positions available right now in the NFL. Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals, Indianapolis Colts, Denver Broncos, Houston Texans. If you were an NFL head coach or a prospective NFL head coach, where would you want to go with those teams? Panthers, Cardinals, Colts, Broncos, Texans.
Did the Colts officially fire their coach?
Well, he was just interim.
Yeah.
So the spot technically is done, still open.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect Jeff Saturday to stay on after that, but I'm just curious if they formally
haven't formally left. I think they probably they don't need to fire him because they can just say like, oh, he's also in our coaching search.
Yeah. I think actually the Colts would be the team. Like, I don't see why they're that bad. I think it's a coaching and quarterback thing. That's it.
I think so too. So if they get a quarterback, which they can get one in the draft coming up,
yeah,
they might luck out and get one of the top 2 guys. Okay, so the Colts will have the 4th overall pick, and in front of them, it's the Cardinals that don't really need a quarterback, the Texans who do need a quarterback, and then the Bears who don't need a quarterback. Now, if the Bears don't trade out, they'll probably take someone on defense, which means that Houston will take a quarterback. Arizona will probably take someone on defense, and then either Bryce Young or Stroud will fall to the Colts at 4. Now, if someone trades up to the Bears to get that quarterback, then the Colts might be out of luck for a quarterback of the future in this draft. But maybe the Colts also trade up to get their quarterback of the future. And then I would say that, yeah, maybe that is the best job available right now.
Yeah, with a healthy Jonathan Taylor, they got good guys on defense. As long as none of these guys aged horribly this offseason, but just getting pummeled every week.
Yeah, no kidding. They shore up the offensive line and then get a quarterback. That team's good.
Yeah,
it's a good team.
And they're not the best division. Like they're not that far from competing in that division.
No, they're not. And you got to think that the Titans are on their way down. The Texans are still dead, and the Jaguars are on their way up. Though Jaguars are gonna be good next year.
Yeah, I don't see the Jaguars getting worse. I don't see why they'd get worse next year.
No, they're gonna get better next
Everybody
year.
just gets a little more experience. I don't think anybody's getting too old. Maybe a couple of those receivers. Marvin Harrison, really. That's the only.
Yeah.
But
Now, so that I would think Colts, and then I would go maybe Cardinals is the next best.
my issue with the Cardinals, I don't think it's time to give up on Kyler Murray as an NFL quarterback. But I don't. I think it's time that he moves on for his own sake from Arizona. I think that relationship is a little bit tarnished there, and I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else.
Really? Okay. So then that would
But
be
I
that's
don't
a
think like
tough
he's
job to
done. I
take
don't
there.
think he's a bum. I don't think he's got nothing left to prove.
Do you think he's better than Dak Prescott?
I think he could be, but no, I don't think he's done enough in
Right.
his short time in the NFL to say he is.
And the Panthers don't really have a quarterback right now either, so they kind of I don't know. The yeah.
Do they have?
Are
They
the,
got a young guy too, don't they? That they drafted.
they drafted him, but I don't know how much faith they have in him because they're talking about trying to just get a quarterback as quickly as possible. I don't know what happened with that guy because they liked him. Obviously, they drafted him and they thought
They
he was
played him
good.
once, didn't they?
No, I think he got hurt in the preseason and hasn't played a game.
No. Well, that's it. Fine,
Yeah.
move on.
Okay, let's talk about wild card weekend. One of the best weekends I believe in sports is wild card weekend. Let's get into it. Um,
I
you
got
know,
2 points to make about Wild Card Weekend. I agree. It's exciting. It's a great weekend. Number
yep,
one, because there's a lot to play for, but also because the number of games each weekend dwindles down.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
this is the last weekend where I'm going to go meet a buddy to watch 2 games in one day because you're not going to be able to do that after.
No, so there's games on Saturday. So this is actually the best part about wild card weekend too is every game is available and it's the only game at that time slot. So you don't
Yeah.
have to like flip back and forth between games. You don't miss any games. You got your first game Saturday 1:30, then 5:15, and then Sunday it is 10 a.m. 1:30, 5:15, and then Monday night 5:15. And these are all West Coast times. But yeah, I mean this weekend also always has great games and like sometimes big upsets. I
Yeah.
don't see that happening. I don't know. This is
No,
gonna be a tough weekend.
there's
This is
always
gonna be a tough
upsets, but
weekend.
before we get too deep in the playoff matchups, I got called out by somebody I work with that somehow miraculously listened to one episode of our predictions before the beginning of the season, and he called me out on the NFC West since he's a Seahawks guy,
Okay.
and we had them as the worst quarterback room. That was our statement, at least what I said. The worst quarterback room in the NFL.
Which at
Now,
that time, everyone would
on
have been saying
paper,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
However, somehow Geno Smith even broke a record for what was the most receiving passing yards in a single season by a Seahawk.
Yeah, I think he broke Russell Wilson's record.
Yeah, so I think we already know that everybody was wrong about Geno. But let's review our division winners because we did decently in our predictions. We actually had Tennessee winning, but we secretly both were kind of saying the dark horse Jags could win that. So that's
Yeah.
almost like a 50-50.
Yeah.
We had I had Kansas City, and somehow you talked me into them
It's
not
the
going to
same.
win the bottom of the table. But I feel like that's another 50-50. Like I was still stuck on why would Kansas City not be the best team in that division?
We got that one wrong for sure. I think I had Chargers, who still made the playoffs. So I'm still
Yeah.
happy about that.
Now we did both have Cincinnati.
Yes.
We both had Buffalo.
Yep.
We did kind of come down to Philadelphia would be the team, no?
Yes, we
I
did.
remember we were talking Dallas and we were like both like kind of analyze them. Is that we both kind of like Philly. Why wouldn't Philly be there?
Yep. And
Tampa Bay,
that division went from the worst division in football to they have three teams in the playoffs.
they almost had 4.
Almost at four, yeah.
Yeah, which is shocking just to show how bad a lot of the teams in the NFC are.
Yeah.
We had Tampa Bay now, mind you, we had them at 11 wins.
Hey, as long as we got them there, as long as we got them to the top, it doesn't matter how many fucking wins they got. No one cares anymore about how many wins they had.
Yeah.
They just look at the teams in the playoffs.
And as much praise as I've given Kirk Cousins, mostly just to spite you, we did have Green Bay winning that division,
Right.
not sitting in third. And the
Yeah.
Rams. How did the Rams fall so
The
hard?
Rams had a horrible season.
I don't think they're going to be good
Horrible
next
season.
year either.
No, I think everything goes wrong for them. I think this is kind of the downfall of the Rams this season. The coach
Yeah,
is
like
probably going to
their
leave.
coach leaves, Aaron Donald leaves. I
Yeah.
think it's Cooper Cup by himself looking at Baker Mayfield like, fuck, I'm not going to get 70 yards
He just
anymore.
walks in and he just goes, "What happened? What happened?" He's just looking at who the fuck are these guys? What the hell happened?
Yeah.
No, we did not do too terribly at all. Um, all right, so let's get into these games because this is gonna be a weird weekend, I think. The 49ers Seahawks. Now, the 49ers are a better
Did you
team.
see Pete Carroll's press conference about this?
No.
He was not looking that confident. Mind you, doesn't say too much, but he was really praising the 49ers, saying they're looking pretty unstoppable. They've gotten super hot. Everything's going well. Their young rookie quarterback's playing well. They're explosive. Basically said they're better in every aspect.
Right.
So it was kind of like a we'll see what happens.
That's I think he's doing like a reverse jinx thing where he just gives
Wow.
them credit for everything and basically says, "You guys already won. It's all good," just to reverse jinx it. It's a great method. It works. Reverse jinxes work 100% of the time.
Okay, so that's the money
100% of the
line.
time.
That's where the money goes. Seattle.
Reverse
I'm sure
jinxes.
you get a great bet on Seattle right now.
You could because the 49ers are favorites to win by 9.5.
Yeah.
And of course, check your bet stamps or where you can get everybody's best dollar for. But so here's the thing about the 49ers Seahawks is the 49ers have the better team, but the Seahawks have the better quarterback. Right? Gino's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, is he not?
I think you have to say that just because I don't think Brock Purdy's done anything wrong to say that he's going to be bad. It's too small of a window. It's so few games, right?
Yeah, but
This is a lot of pressure to put on a rookie guy coming in, stepping in late in the season. It's not like they rode him the entire season, right? He came in at the end.
sure, but you could get like I don't know,
I'm saying playoff football is going to be a little different
100%. And
with his limited experience.
Gino Smith is a veteran of
Yeah,
the league. He might not have been in many or any playoff games, but he's still a veteran in the league. So he's going to be more poised, more like a better, more relaxed quarterback. Where Brock Purdy's probably going to have, he's probably going to be a little, it's going to take him a while to settle down. I still think the
assuming
49ers
so.
win, though.
I think so too.
I still think the 49ers win.
They're kind of like the Bengals on the other side, where they're on fire, firing
Yeah,
on all
they're hot right now.
cylinders. Everything's working well for them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next game on Saturday night, 5:15 p.m., 8:15 East Coasters. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Chargers. This should be a fun game. These are my two picks. These are like if
These
we're
are your
going
two
back to
picks.
these are both like we both had it. We were both high in the Jaguars. I was high in the Chargers.
Chargers are fully healthy too, aren't they?
Yeah, both teams are pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean they got all the receivers. Williams, what's in White? Mike Williams is playing. Everybody's playing.
Yep. And their
It's
Chargers are
in
favorites to win by
Jacksonville.
2.5.
I
It's
don't know
in
if
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's home record is any better. I don't know if you have that info up
I
in
don't
hand,
know.
but
I do not know. I do
my
know that.
gut says Chargers,
Okay.
but I want Jacksonville to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who I want to win. My gut actually says Jaguars
You think Jaguars win it?
because it's a home game and both. This is the battle of the long, blonde, flowy hair quarterbacks with Herbert and Lawrence. Both their first NFL playoff game.
Herbert wasn't in the playoffs 2 years ago.
No, this is his first playoff game. So I don't know. Like I think they both go in there with nothing to lose, and they're both gunslingers. So who knows? They're just gonna whip it around. I think. Fuck. I like the Chargers, but I
What's
think
the odds on this one? What's the Vegas?
So I'm looking at BetStamp right now, and all of you can get the Chargers are favored to win as big as 2.5 points and as low as 1.5 points, depending on which app you use. So
does anyone have the Jags to win?
no,
No.
no. But I don't know. I think the Jaguars win this game.
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
They also have the better
I
coach.
wouldn't count them out.
They have the better coach. Doug Peterson is a better coach than Staley. Staley makes weird
Of
decisions
all
all the
the
time. All the time he makes
of all
weird
the
decisions.
underdogs, of all the statistical underdogs, the betting underdogs, I think Jacksonville's the best bet out of every other matchup,
Yeah.
which we'll get into.
So then let's go to Sunday's games. We got the Bengals, Ravens in Cincinnati. Oh, sorry, that's the night game. Let's go first. Let's go in order here.
Miami, Buffalo.
Bills, Buffalo. Yeah. Bills from Buffalo, Dolphins from Miami. It's in Buffalo. They are favorites to win by 13 and a half. Now, Tua's not playing this game. Teddy Bridgewater is iffy right now. And I don't know who they have a third string quarterback that they played last week. This doesn't bode well for the Dolphins. It's also going to be 33 degrees Fahrenheit. So they haven't won a game, like we said earlier, in cold weather.
I think Buffalo with the DeMar Hamlin incident is a very united team right now. You're gonna
Yes.
get their best.
I think with him getting increasingly healthier, that just it's giving them more confidence, more to play for, more to like rally around.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a team that's gonna come out and give it their all.
Yeah.
And Miami's not at their best. They don't have their star guy
No,
quarterback.
that's Miami's kind of
If they're going third string quarterback, that
it's going to be a bloodbath at that point. And you can get, if you check your Bet Stamp app, you can get the Bills at minus 13, minus 14. Jeez. All the way to minus 12 and a half is the differences between some of these websites. I have Bills. I think you have Bills on this one as well, just because of the fact that Tua is not playing is why I have the Bills. Or else I think it'd be a much closer game.
they beat them once
Yeah.
with a healthy Miami beat them in Miami.
In Miami.
Nice. That was a beautiful sunny day though.
Yeah. It'll be cold in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Big cold old day. A Buffalo Bills day. Your 1:30 or 4:30 game? No. Yeah, 1:30, 4:30 game. Giants, Vikings.
As we talked earlier, this is the matchup. I think that every matchup that the Vikings could have had in the NFC, I think this is the most favorable one.
Yeah. Vikings are favorites to win by 3. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, does it?
No, I think a lot of people don't.
More.
I don't think a lot of people have faith in Minnesota.
I don't have faith in them because
I don't either. I don't think that they're that great
because of Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins has
if you put Dak Prescott on that team, they'd be unstoppable. Unstoppable. But I do think they pull out a win. I don't know.
Who do you trust more with the game on the line, Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins?
Neither of them. Whoever hands the ball off most wins this game. Whichever team hands the ball off most wins this game.
Yeah, I mean Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley both solid guys to choose from.
Yeah, 100%.
The only difference is that you can just heave the ball up to Jefferson, and he's going to get more than he's not going to get.
Yeah, the wide receivers in this game are the difference, and for that reason, I'll go Vikings in this game.
Yeah.
And then our night game on Sunday, again, due to circumstances, this game I don't think it's going to be great. Bengals, Ravens. Bengals are 9.5.
Bengals are trending up. They've been trending up for the last,
on fire right now. They're doing exactly what they did last year to get hot at the right time. And
Baltimore Ravens is trending the complete other way.
Exactly, and Lamar Jackson's not playing. Huntley is.
He didn't play last game. He didn't play last game either, did he?
He hasn't played in a while. Huntley is probably going to play, but he's also a little banged up too. So
Mark Andrews was out last game too, was he? Is he out this week?
I don't know if he's playing this week or not. I haven't really been following them, but yeah, he didn't play last week. Mark Andrews did. I like that Isaiah Likely kid though. It's a sweet name too. But yeah, if you look at your Bet Stamp app, you can get the bet -9 favorites or -10 in Cincinnati. If you know how to bet, you'd probably go -9. I don't think this game's gonna be good for that reason.
It's gonna be great if you're a Cincinnati fan. I think it'll be a repeat of last week.
Yeah, I agree. And then Monday night game.
Before we move on, does Ocho Cinco pay for another celebration this week? Did you watch that?
That was sweet. And they did it for him too.
For sure.
Buccaneers, Cowboys.
I think is one of the biggest matchups.
It's in Tampa.
This is kind of the big.
Cowboys are
This is
favorites to
like
win.
big career defining, not really career defining for Tom Brady, but in for him it is. Like this is the pivotal thing for him because like this is the end of his career. Maybe he's got another season left. Maybe he's got another 2 seasons left, whatever it is. But he doesn't have that many more shots. And you know he wants to go out winning.
Oh, for sure.
He does not want to have given up his family, the whole divorce, all those Surface tablets that he probably had to pay for, all that shit for nothing to go out in the first round of the playoffs.
No, he's going to want to win this game, and it being in Tampa helps that. Um, I don't know. Do you think they win though?
I think they can win. I don't see any reason why they don't win. The but what happens next? He's up against assuming that all our predictions are right. He's up against San Francisco,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
don't think
no, it's gonna be tough to beat San Francisco, but they got to. I mean, they do have to get past Dallas. Has also been hot, except for I think they lost last week, but they've been. They at one point they could have still won the first overall seed, and I
they
haven't found out yet.
lost.
They beat
Yeah,
Philly 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
with Gardner Minshew, they
Yeah,
they lost to a team who was playing for nothing when they were potentially playing for first seed.
yeah,
So that I wouldn't call that hot. I think that cooled them down a bit.
that's true. Okay, but I'm gonna go. I think. Man, I don't know about this one.
But
How
also,
do you
I
go? This
think
like this is the
this is another like defining thing for Dak Prescott. How many more chances is he going to get
this
to go
should.
deep in the playoffs?
I mean, he just signed a new contract, but you're right. Like this is a very winnable game for the Dallas Cowboys,
Yeah.
and Dak has to get it done. But also, this is the Michael Jordan thing. Like, never bet against Michael Jordan. And Tom Brady's out there. Like, do you bet against him?
Yeah. The only difference between Michael Jordan and Tom Brady's situations is Michael Jordan could be a force on both sides of the ball. Tom Brady can only play offense. He can't do anything on defense.
Yeah, you're right. That's
So
true.
that's the only reason why it becomes such a tough matchup, right?
That's very true.
So yeah, this is a very winnable thing. I think going into like on paper, this is Dallas's game to win. Tampa Bay has been abysmal this season.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is Dallas should win this game, but it's in Tampa with Brady
Yeah,
and him
anything
and
can
Mike
happen.
Evans just had 3 touchdowns. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay though.
I'm going Tampa Bay too. I just don't have faith in the Cowboys right now.
Yeah, I never have faith in the Cowboys.
Also, I don't
Cowboys
like their
stink.
coach that much.
I don't like
McCarthy.
anything about them. There's nothing I like about the Cowboys. I hate them. I hate that they think that they're America's team.
I like Michael Irving in that Adam Sandler movie, The Like Longest Yard. I thought he was pretty good in that.
Yeah, that's the best thing about the Cowboys. Anything else to say before we go here?
Uh yeah, I guess that's our Monday night game. That's the end, and then KC in Philadelphia. Here's my question: do you always want the bye?
Yes.
Always, because I mean, sometimes I feel like you kind of cool down if it's
Yeah, but you need your guys to have that extra rest.
for sure if that's what they need. Like for those two teams, I don't think it's going to hinder them. I think it gives Jalen Hurts time to get back, and Kansas City's looking good either way.
Yeah, it just gives everybody that 1 week to refresh. I think it's huge.
I mean, you have to take it. You couldn't turn it down, but
No, yeah.
I swear, some circumstances having that week off can actually throw off your rhythm of when you're playing hot.
I think in most
Not in
sports,
these
but I don't think in
circumstances.
football. I think in most sports like hockey and baseball, whenever you have that like 7 game um
Yeah.
series that ends in
You
4.
sweep and
Yeah,
everybody else goes the distance, and then you're
yeah.
just sitting there for a week and a half not playing.
I think that, but in terms of football, I think that this I think it's better than anything else.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
we forgot one thing. We forgot one thing.
what's that?
Our sponsored Game Stamp game of the week.
No, I just they're all games of the week.
But all games of the week? No,
Oh,
see. I think you and I have a
playoffs.
different perspective. You and I have a different perspective of the game of the week.
Yeah,
Yours
it's the
is the best.
playoffs.
No, yours is the best betting odds
No, I don't.
to
No, no.
maximize your money. Mine is just which is going to be the most entertaining game.
They're all going to be entertaining games. It's
We
playoffs.
we disagreed on that though. We thought Baltimore Cincinnati is not going to be that entertaining. You don't care about Minnesota. You don't think that's going to be entertaining.
I'm going to watch them all though.
Yeah, I didn't say you're not going to watch them all. I'll even watch them on the TV. I'm not going to bust out the phone on these. I'm going to watch them on the TV.
Well, which one are you going
I
to watch on
still
the TV?
as many as I'm able to sit there and watch. I'll probably watch at least all of Sunday's games on the TV. Monday for sure. Saturday's kind of a toss up because I got a soccer game myself, so I'll probably miss. I will miss for sure the second game.
Really?
I'll miss
That's the.
I'll miss part of the Chargers Jacksonville.
I would say that that's
Maybe
the
the
game of the.
last bit
I
of
would
the
say that that's the game of the week.
that's your game of the week. I can
Yeah,
see that.
we're like Chargers
I'll
Jaguars.
take
That's
it.
the game of the week.
I'll take it. It was either gonna be that or the Tampa Bay game, but I just feel like the Bay game might be Brady wins it in the last couple minutes, like he usually does. But yeah, I'm gonna take your game of the week. Chargers Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that game of the week, as always, is provided to you guys from BetStamp. It's your one-stop shop for line shopping, bet tracking, and sports betting odds. You would never just go with the first price if you were shopping for flights, so why settle for the first odds you find when betting? BetStamp changes that. The streamlined and easy-to-use app allows you to find a wide spectrum of odds for any bet, then makes it easy to track your bets in one place. You can set alerts in case the line changes and learn what bets your friends and even some celebrity bettors are making. And our game of the week is Chargers Jaguars. Anything else you got to say before we sign off here?
No, but I hope you're feeling better
Oh,
next week.
thank you. I also hope I feel better next week. At least knowing that the way I feel now, I have an excuse to not do anything Saturday and Sunday and just hang out and
Like,
watch
is
football.
that ever going to stop you?
No, but now I feel better about it because sometimes that's the weekend and you don't want to leave your house and you feel guilty about it.
No, I mean I'm an adult. I'm a single guy. I don't feel these kind of guilt. I don't have to prove to anybody why I'm going to sit there and watch football like a lazy piece of shit all day. It's for this podcast I do.
That's what I say too. But then we
This
come
is
on here, we
work.
have nothing to talk
This
about.
is work. This is research.
It is work, and that's why I get away with it all the time too. Needs to happen. And anyways, thank you all for listening to us. We will be watching all the games. I'll be watching them on the big TVs. Puya will watch the big TVs on Sunday and Monday. He's going to be on his cell phone for the Saturday games because he's not that big of a Seahawks guy. Thank you for listening. We will see you after Wildcard Weekend. Running Down the Clock is brought to you by the Ordinary Podcast Network and is every Thursday running until the week after the Super Bowl. We hope you enjoyed enough to subscribe and tune in again next week.